Bonjour à tous, soyez les bienvenus.
Hi everyone, welcome to everyone. My name is Agathe Sector. I am the Director of the Environment and Sustainable Development Office at USAID in Madagascar and the focal point of Power Africa. So before we start, I would like to explain to you how the platform works. Be aware that this event is recorded and the event will be held mainly in French, but there is a translation service as there will be some interventions in English. So you can click on the icon at the bottom of your screen. You will see the globe and select your language.
My name is Agatha Sector.
So
I'm
for
the Director
our
of the Sustainable Environment and Economic Development Office at USAID Madagascar and the Power Africa POC. Before we begin, I'll just provide a few instructions. This event is being recorded and will be in French for the most part, but the platform has a translation service. So please click on the button that looks like a globe at the bottom of your screen and then click on English. The camera and mic functions have been turned off except for the panelists and moderators. So if you have any questions or comments, you can use the chat box, and for questions, there is a Q&A box. Ce plateforme Zoom a été configuré non pour une réunion habituelle, mais plutôt pour un événement.
Alors, to start, let me say that this Zoom platform was configured not for a regular meeting, but rather for an event. This means that only the video and microphone of the speakers will work. You can write your comments in the chat box and ask questions in the Q&A box. So we will now start officially after these short instructions. So, Excellence, Ministry of Energy and Hydrocarbons, Your Excellency, the Ambassador of the United States, gentlemen, Directors General of ADER and ORI, ladies and gentlemen, representatives of the technical and financial partners, ladies and gentlemen, business leaders, and my colleague from Power Africa and the South African Energy Program. I wish you a warm welcome. I am very happy to be here with you as the moderator to announce the winners of the grant for the development of mini-grids in Madagascar. I welcome you and I hope that you are all in good health. First of all, I would like to thank the Minister.
Nous sommes honorés de soutenir l'objectif.
We are honored to support the government of Madagascar's goal of increasing access to electricity, and this subsidy program will provide light and electricity for the first time to thousands of people in remote areas. This program of the United States government through the Power Africa initiative is implemented by the South African Energy Program, which works in 11 countries in the region to increase energy production and access to electricity in Africa. To start with, to make it a bit more interactive, I will ask you a simple question and you can answer in the chat box. So the question is, why do we need electricity in Madagascar?
Pour tout? Oui,
for
merci.
Everything, yes. Thank you.
Pour améliorer nos conditions de vie.
To improve our life conditions. Absolutely.
D'autres réponses?
Are there any other answers?
Eh bien, oui, on a aussi pour promouvoir l'agriculture.
Yes, absolutely, to power agriculture.
Mais vraiment, pour moi, en tout cas, j'ai besoin d'électricité.
And also, I think I need electricity in Madagascar to see the football matches. Congratulations to Madagascar team, really.
Ok, donc ça c'était vraiment juste pour tester que tout le monde peut utiliser.
So it was simply to test that everyone can use the chat box. So thank you very much. So now I will present the agenda. There will first be a video that will present the overview of this grant program. This will be followed by the different speeches, including the minister and the ambassador, and also the coordinator of Power Africa will announce the winners. The winners will also speak through a pre-recorded video. And after that, we will have a question and answer session followed by the closing of our event. We would like also to take a photo of all the participants at the end, but of course you do not have to if you don't wish to, so it is up to you. But we would like to have a group photo of the event if possible. So if you have comments, a reminder to please use the chat box. And if you have specific questions, you may ask your question in the Q&A. So without delay, here is the film that gives an overview of the project.
Bien que riche en énergie renouvelable comme le solaire et l'éolien,
Although
seuls
rich
5%
in
des zones
renewable
rurales de
energy
Madagascar
resources,
ont accès à
only
l'électricité
5% of
et
rural
les
Madagascar
communautés
has
qui y
access
vivent
to
doivent compter
electricity,
sur
and
des bougies,
communities
des
living
piles
there
et
must
du bois
rely
de
on
chauffage
candles,
pour
batteries,
répondre à leurs
and
besoins
firewood to
énergétiques
meet their
quotidiens.
daily energy needs.
L'électrification hors réseau, comme les mini-réseaux, peut jouer un rôle vital dans l'électrification des zones rurales de Madagascar. Les mini-réseaux, alimentés par des sources d'énergie renouvelables, sont pratiques et économiques pour les communautés qui n'ont pas accès au réseau national. Les développeurs et opérateurs de mini-réseaux privés ont souvent du mal à entrer sur le marché et à se développer, l'un des principaux obstacles étant le manque général d'accès au financement de projets. Pour combler ce déficit de financement et étendre la portée des mini-réseaux à Madagascar, l'USAID a lancé le Power Africa Madagascar Mini Grid Development Grant pour soutenir la mise en œuvre de nouveaux projets de mini-réseaux et permettre l'expansion des mini-réseaux existants à de nouveaux clients. L'USAID fournira jusqu'à 1,2 million de dollars en subvention à 3 développeurs. Le financement est destiné à l'achat d'équipements spécifiques de mini-réseaux et aux activités de sensibilisation communautaire et de marketing pour attirer des clients supplémentaires. L'USAID fournira également une assistance technique pour aider les bénéficiaires à optimiser leurs projets. La subvention pour le développement de mini-réseaux de Power Africa à Madagascar apportera environ 5216 nouveaux raccordements électriques hors réseau aux ménages ruraux et contribuera à l'objectif d'électrification de 50% du gouvernement de Madagascar d'ici 2023. Il améliorera l'utilisation productive de l'électricité et l'augmentation des revenus de la population locale. USAID et Power Africa reconnaissent le rôle que jouent les développeurs et exploitants de mini-réseaux à Madagascar et espèrent que grâce à cette subvention, ils pourront apporter une contribution significative à l'amélioration de la vie des Malgaches.
Wow, c'est vraiment impressionnant.
This is really impressive. So we now move on to the minister's speech. Nice to see you again, and thank you for being with us today. So the floor is yours, Mr. Minister. Good afternoon to everyone. His Excellency, the Ambassador of the United States. My apologies. I am in a not so comfortable condition to participate in this event that I find absolutely remarkable, but I couldn't be in my office to do that. So I hope that you will understand my joy actually to be here and having seen that video. You know, when we saw each other, Madame Sector, I told you that when I was named as the Ministry of Energy, I noticed something that was absolutely worrying. Only 35% of Malagasy people, 15% only have access to electricity, and you see that they are mainly in the main cities, but they also have a lot of power failure, and load shedding. So we can see that there is a problem with our utility companies. So they couldn't really follow through with the investment programs. And we know that there's a lot of power cuts and that there's a high demand for electricity. So at the time, I thought that I would have to actually focus on the 85% who never saw power and never received electricity, as the film showed. So for a country like Madagascar and what is happening now, it is absolutely unacceptable that in 2020, we still have vast majority of the population who are still not electrified and never had light in their homes. So you know that access to energy or even energy is one of the first commitment of our president when he was elected, and my duty is to make advances in this field. So today I am very pleased, I am very happy that through the USAID program, Power Africa, you bring support to our country to improve electrification in our country. And also, I am glad to see that you are focusing on those who are not connected to the main grid. I think it is an exceptional program, and I think you really are pioneers, because since you have launched this program, there are some more technical partners who are developing similar programs, such as the World Bank and other partners as well. And they follow on your footsteps. So I really congratulate and thank the leadership of the American government in this project, because it's much more than a project to bring light, to bring energy, but it's also a humanitarian project, because you work with the people who do not have the means, who do not have electricity, they don't have purchasing power, and they are often in remote area. Madagascar is quite a wide country, and the challenge sometimes is to provide electricity to people who are in remote areas. In some areas of the country, we have a very low density of population, so I'm not sure if even the Malagasy government will ever manage to provide electricity to everyone in the country. So I really salute this innovation that is your program. And for me, it's really unique, because it allows to our country, or it allows our country to be part of a program that could help us to achieve 50% of electrification rate. So I really thank you. I thank the government of the United States on behalf of the government of Malagasy. And you must know that the president of the Republic of Madagascar is really happy with this program. And the electricity company, maybe the shortfalls are compensated by your program and by your initiative, because through your work.
C'est dramatique de voir qu'un pays comme Madagascar n'a pas pu encore apporter de l'électricité, alors qu'au 19e siècle, les grands pays, les pays comme les États-Unis, ils n'ont pas de problème. Et d'ailleurs, je pense que si on parle aux Américains qu'il y a beaucoup d'endroits à Madagascar où il n'y a pas d'énergie, il n'y a pas d'électricité, peut-être qu'ils vont même pas ils vont même pas comprendre. Ils vont se dire, mais comment ça se fait qu'on ne peut pas emmener l'électricité, alors que pour eux, c'est quelque chose de... C'est un utility, c'est quelque chose de basique. J'ai habité un petit peu aux États-Unis pendant 1 an et demi.
And I was surprised to see a number of companies, electrical services, who provide electricity. And in fact, I could connect with any company. And in fact, they were doing advertising as well, so that I could buy it at a cheaper price. But we will never actually have that and be on the level of the United States. But we thank you for your contribution from very far, from Washington and New York and Texas, and you bring with this $3 million a small funding, but as I mentioned, you are bringing a lot more than just light. In fact, you're bringing us, how can I say, some kind of energy. You are you are stimulating our other technical partners. So to follow the example of USAID and to follow your example, and I thank you, and I thank also again the government of the United States for this contribution, and this will, we hope, open up a more sustainable future for the rural world and for people who are not connected to Jirama. Your Excellency, Mr. Ambassador, Madam Agathe Sector, we've already met. We have already met in my office, and I'm very happy today to hear that they are winners, that there are people who have actually contributed to this challenge, favorably contributed, and I hope that the American government and USAID will provide more funding, and then we hope as well that it's done for the Madagascar people. I'm just a minister, but what we are trying to do today, it will be permanent, and it will be for the benefit of the people. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think it's been a huge effort for you to join us, and we thank you very much for that. Now, I would like to give the floor to the ambassador, please. The Director General of ADER, the Director General of EDBM, the Director General of ORE, representatives of financial and technical partners, our colleagues from Power Africa, company directors, Mr. Minister. The United States government, through the United States Agency for International Development, has been working together with the government of Madagascar and local partners for 36 years to help the Malagasy people accomplish their development goals in the face of ongoing challenges. One of today's greatest challenges and greatest opportunities is energy access. The US government has responded with $3 million in activities that, so far, have helped more than 57,000 people gain access to electricity and aims to provide electricity to over 400,000 people by 2022. I am delighted to be here virtually today to announce the winners of our latest initiative, the 1.2 million Madagascar Mini-Grids Development Grant Program. But I would be remiss if I did not note that these projects are just a fraction of USAID and US government investments in Madagascar's development and people. In total, America provided roughly $114 million last year to support the larger development goals of reinforcing democracy and government capacity, strengthening commercial and economic ties, and promoting sustainable self-reliance. This includes $62 million to support the country's health sector, where we are the largest single country donor. It also includes $37 million to strengthen food security in Madagascar, where again, America is the principal country donor and continues to fund the bulk of life-saving international humanitarian food aid in the drought-stricken South. As we work in these various sectors, we consistently see that lack of electricity constrains advances in health, education, and economic growth. Currently in Madagascar, only 15% of urban and 5% of rural populations have access to electricity. The government of Madagascar has an ambitious goal of increasing the electricity access rate to 50% by 2030. And the US government is proud to support that goal. Our work to increase access is led by the government's Power Initiative, which began working in Madagascar in 2018. Under the Southern Africa Energy Programme, in conjunction with the Ministry of Energy and the Rural Electrification Agency, ADRER, we are supporting the development of on-grid hydroelectric projects and off-grid solar home systems and mini-grids in Madagascar. And through Power Africa's off-grid program, we are electrifying 35 remote health clinics. The mini-grid projects being announced today will turn on the lights for more than 5,200 homes and businesses through the construction of mini-grids in 3 regions of the country: Amarone Mania, Atsimo Andrefana, and Bweni. This means over 28,000 people will gain access to reliable electricity. Mini-grids are one of the best solutions for quickly providing energy access to people in rural areas. They provide electricity for households and also power machines, tools and appliances, irrigation pumps, and cold storage. These systems help businesses grow and create jobs. They keep people healthier through advanced medicine, and they keep the lights on so children have more time to study and pursue a brighter future. The US government is honored to be a friend and foremost development partner to Madagascar. Our work in health, in economic development, and of course, energy has improved living conditions and increased economic opportunities for millions of people throughout the country. Today's announcement is one of many US-led projects that continue this important work and support the people of Madagascar on their journey to self-reliance. So without further ado, I pass the floor back to Power Africa. Thank you with much appreciation, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. I would like to give the floor to Mark Carata, who is in Washington.
Good morning, everyone. It's just turning light here, so I'm glad I actually could be seen. When I first got on, I was nervous. I didn't have enough light in the room with my home office, now branded Power Africa workstation. It's fantastic to be here, and Director Generals, Mr. Minister, Mr. Ambassador, all private sector, and everyone else. I just really appreciate the opportunity to speak. And before I jump in, I just want to let the minister know, and I'm not sure I even told the ambassador, but I spent a little time in Madagascar back in the day, back before I was started with USAID. And I think I had one of the unique opportunities. I've actually hiked from Nozimanga Bay through the Maswala Peninsula all the way to a very small town called Antala. Me and 2 gentlemen who kept me safe through the leeches and the rainstorms and everything else. And 5 days later, we emerged unscathed. But it was probably one of the more amazing seminal experiences of my life. They likened probably 10 non-Malagasy a year potentially even never walked the path we were on, which literally was in the middle of nowhere. But boy, did I appreciate not only the, what our world has to offer, but how beautiful Madagascar is. So, Mr. Minister, when this COVID things breaks and when we're back to a different semblance, and Ambassador, if you'll have me, I would love to come out and visit and see these projects in person and get back to your most beautiful country. So, I hope we can make that happen. For those of you who don't know, Power Africa started in 2013. It's the US government-led energy initiative, as everyone's noted. And its goal is to double access to electricity in sub-Saharan Africa, and specifically by 2030 to get 30,000 megawatts and 60 million connections to homes and businesses. So these are big goals. But as everyone noted, sometimes the numbers can be deceiving because the human story is just so critical. And I think the one we're saying today in Madagascar is absolutely indicative of that, how critical it really is to do this work. We've been in Madagascar for years, as the ambassador said. We started as Power Africa in 2018 to support both the on and the off the grid done a couple things. We've provided practical experience to engineering students, so making sure we're helping to build the human capacity as we put the energy on the grid. We've helped develop investment briefs, which everyone knows is critical, because despite the large numbers that we're able to provide at times, the private sector truly is the capital that will drive this process. And then finally, we've done financial modeling to support mini grids and solar home companies. And that last point is why we're here today, and why I want to talk a bit about mini grids in particular. As everyone said, the access rates in Madagascar, unfortunately, are very low. 5% rural, 60% overall. Everyone wants to get more energy to people to do, as the minister said, basic human development, but also to fuel businesses to just take the next step on the development journey. So the mini grids, we think, are a great way to do this because they're both scalable and financially sustainable. And this is super critical, because the grid is just going to take time in a lot of spots, and in some spots probably is just never going to get there, and probably isn't the smart decision to get there. We often make it akin to the example of cell phones and landlines. You don't go use old technology if you don't need to, especially if it's not cost effective or sustainable. So for Madagascar, the answer for some time is going to be mini grids, but that's good, because research by some of our partners, one by the name of Cross Boundary, said that they are going to be the least cost energy solution for 100 million unelectrified Africans today. Other people, the International Energy Agency, another Power Africa partner, anticipates that 140 million Africans will be served by mini grids by 2040. These are big numbers and really critical steps, I think, on both the macro and the micro scale toward better electrification and human development. And so why? It's for a competitive price, mini grid customers can realize reliability that can exceed the national grid, especially when that grid is trying to push out into rural areas. African Mini Grid Developers Association shows that mini grid customers enjoy 99% uptime. 99% is pretty good. And they also have a far lower connection costs. So you can do it, you can do that more quickly. So between the quicker and competitive costs when it comes to per unit electrification and much lower connection costs, we see the bottom line is it's a lower cost energy solution for many consumers. And that's critical. That's what we're trying to get to. The low cost sustainable solutions that will quickly move us to where we need to go. So we've been doing some ongoing work in Madagascar. The ambassadors mentioned that we have helped provide healthcare or electricity to healthcare facilities. In September, we awarded a $240,000 grant to a Malagasy company called Anoe, I hope I got that right, to electrify the 35 health facilities using the nanogrid technology in Mbanja and Ambilobe. And I'm also hoping I got those right. We're also working with financing for electrification with another strong partner of ours, SC for All. And we just launched together the Universal Energy Facility, which is a results-based financing scheme for mini grids that will kick off in Madagascar and Sierra Leone. So again, the results-based financing is a critical part. It sounds a little bit wonky at times, but it really is the idea that if we unlock the tools, others will come in and do the work. And that's how it always should be. We need to figure out ways to find innovative ways to finance mini grids, whether it's bundling with other things, whether it's finding the right revenue stream. So it's an obvious business investment. And that is a truly sustainable solution than potentially development partners doing it. In this case, a flat $433 subsidy per connection will lower that risk level for developers to come and quickly design the project. So, something that Power Africa often looks at is where do we be targeted to take away risk, often financial risk, for others to come in and take chances. And we hope that will really work here. But why are we here today? That's the most important part. We're here, the Madagascar Agency for Rural Electrification and Development awarded concessions to mini grid developers to provide this energy that we're talking about. But due to COVID, like so many other things, the companies are struggling and projects are at an advanced stage, but risk of collapse as far as I understand. And that's just something that we just don't want to see, this existential anomalous threat undo the great work that everyone's been going toward for so long. It's critical we step in when we can to stop that. So today, through our South Africa Energy Program, we launched the Mini Grid Development Program to help make sure this is viable. And today, with $1.2 million, we're going to be able to grant to 3 businesses. We hope to boost their delivery of electricity to remote villages, which we hope will help Madagascar recover from COVID-19. in addition to just being the right thing to do in terms of our goals on our journey to self-reliance. So these grants will provide quick and targeted support to bring these projects over the finish line, which is fantastic. And coupled with the other work we're doing, we hope this together really helps keep the mini-grid sector alive in Madagascar. As mentioned, over 2,500 businesses and 2,600 households will be able to benefit from this work. That's real, and that matters. So we're very, very excited to start. So without any further ado, and again, I hope I get these right because it's no good to get your name pronounced wrong when you just won a competition. With a last name like Corrado, I've gotten all kinds of things myself, but here we go. First of all, Otarsis has completed 3 mini projects so far and has plans to complete 3 more in 2021. So congratulations to you. Hier specializes in hydropower with 3 small hydro plants currently in operation, and 2 others will begin operation before the end of the year. Fantastic. And finally, Henri Fraisse is a very familiar partner to us in Power Africa. In 2017, we funded through USTDA, a feasibility study for mini grids in partnership with Henri Fraisse and the US battery manufacturer Nant Energy. So these 3 companies bring a diverse array of talent and technologies to provide life-changing electricity. And we are absolutely thrilled that 5,000 households and small businesses, over 5,000 households and small businesses will benefit from this work. It's critical given the 5% electrification rate we started with. But let's not focus on that. Let's focus on the number we're going to have in the future, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and up and up and up until we get universal access, because that is what everyone deserves and what we really strive to make happen. So again, Mr. Minister, Mr. Ambassador, thank you for the strong partnership. Power Africa is absolutely proud and honored to work with you all to bring these goals. And I look forward to hearing more about this talented group of developers. And hopefully, as I said, next time we can do it in person. So let's hear more about the companies. And again, thank you very much.
Dear Sir or Madam, dear inhabitants of Befandriana, Egeda and Fortadrevo, Otarsis Madagascar is happy to inform you that USAID will supporting 3 of our projects in Madagascar with funding of 300,000 USD to establish an electric power supply. With this money, 3 more settlements can be sure that their standard of living will improve significantly. Small businesses will have access to low-cost 24/7 energy. Women will feel safer, they will have access to medical care, and children will have better learning conditions. However, the significance of this support goes far beyond the electrification of 3 communities. The funding supports renewable energy supply. These facilities, in particular the storage systems, are in line with state-of-the-art of international technology. Mini-grids are much more cost-effective than conventional diesel generators and the national grid. The above-mentioned communities will also provide economic proof that they can be made more cost-efficient through meters, scalable systems, etc. Risks can be reduced and sustainability of the investment can be ensured. The implementation of the 3 projects is the door opener and lever for financing the electrification of the entire Atsimo and Refana region. It will show that even small settlements can get an energy supply infrastructure without having to rely on inefficient and expensive solar home systems. Thank you.
Mesdames et messieurs, fort de notre expérience en matière d'électrification rurale par énergie renouvelable, nous avons obtenu auprès du gouvernement l'autorisation de développer des centrales solaires batteries sur 100 villages. Grâce à la subvention venant de l'USAID, nous pouvons maintenant développer le site de Manaransanj. Cette subvention nous permettra non seulement d'alléger le coût d'investissement initial, mais aussi de réduire drastiquement le coût de l'énergie pour le village bénéficiaire. Ce genre de subvention pour l'électrification rurale renforcera à coup sûr les expériences en matière d'énergie renouvelable sur Madagascar. La communauté locale sera désormais électrifiée de manière normalisée, ce qui permettra l'extension des activités artisanales et rurales, ceci avec une source d'énergie ne dépendant plus du pétrole. Pour conclure, c'est un grand plaisir pour nous, Henri Fraisse, Fils et compagnie, de contribuer à l'électrification rurale de Madagascar, ce que nous faisons déjà depuis plus de 50 ans. Mais ici, ce sera main dans la main avec le support de l'USAID et du programme Power Africa. Nous vous sommes donc infiniment reconnaissants que ce beau projet soit le début d'un partenariat fructueux et sur le très long terme. Merci beaucoup.
C'est un grand honneur pour la société hier d'être choisi parmi les bénéficiaires de la subvention pour le développement de mini-réseaux et nous sommes ravis ce jour d'adresser ces quelques mots en guise de reconnaissance et de remerciement à l'égard du gouvernement des États-Unis d'Amérique à travers l'USAID pour avoir lancé la subvention de Power Africa pour le développement de mini-réseaux à Madagascar au mois de mai 2020. Grâce à cette aide, nous avons une opportunité pour pouvoir développer davantage nos activités dans le cadre de l'éducation rurale. En effet, son octroi nous permettra d'étendre les zones desservies par notre centrale de production hydro, tout en permettant en si peu de temps le raccordement pour plus de 1500 ménages, qui contribuera à la réalisation de l'objectif de Madagascar dans l'augmentation du taux d'accès à l'électricité. Avec cette subvention de l'USAID, nous pouvons étendre nos réseaux, ce qui constitue un moteur de développement pour la communauté bénéficiaire qui va jouir des avantages liés à l'accès de l'énergie propre et durable. Aussi, réitérons-nous ici notre profonde gratitude, surtout pour tous les efforts déployés par l'équipe de subvention, nous ayant permis d'être sélectionnés parmi les gagnants de la subvention USAID Power Africa. Thanks.
Félicitations à vous tous. C'est vraiment.
Congratulations to all of you. It's exceptional that you will be working in these far-flung areas that don't have a lot of access to electricity or don't have access to electricity. So I congratulate you. And now I would like to move over to the question and answer session. So if you have questions, please put them in the chat box at the bottom of your, or rather in the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. And before any of questions are posed, there are already two that have been posed. Questions that have been received from the media. The first one is, will the winners, or are the winners from the private sector? And the second question is, what are the regions that will be benefiting from this electricity? So I would like to give the floor now to SAEP, which is the, I give the floor now to Rajiv.
The winners are from the private sector and where the projects will occur.
Could we perhaps ask Rija to take that one?
Yeah, Prof. The first part, the second part, Rija will take. I don't have the specifics of the localities, but all of the winners are from the private sector. All three are private sector companies.
Okay.
Rija, do you want to take the second part?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's on as a panelist, so I think we'll get the answer to that question, but in the meantime, we have another question. Une autre question qui est venue, c'est pendant combien
So another question is for how long the companies will be implementing this project?
The question in English is for how long will these projects take to implement? Who can answer that question?
D'accord.
Oh yes, okay. The program runs until 2021, so we expect in 2022. So we expect the projects to run from between 18 months and 24 months. So the ideal would be for the projects to end by March 2022. But the reality will be that some of them will overrun that implementation window and run up to until about June. But we will be working with the companies to make sure that the implementation timelines and all the tasks and procurement steps are run efficiently so that we can remain within the timelines. The ideal, obviously, from our perspective, is to help all of the implementers to make sure that the programs can be implemented or the projects can be implemented within the shortest possible time. And this was one of the considerations that we paid attention to during the selection process. So all of the companies that have been selected are set up to optimize, but through SAP's assistance and other technical support that we provide, we'll make sure that the timelines can be optimized.
Can I just add a little bit there? Over and beyond the project, what SAP is doing is clearly laying a foundation for continued connections. So we can discuss it in the context of the project, but this will go on and continue to assist Madagascar to attain its electrification goals. Thank you.
Thanks. Je vois que Rige est maintenant avec nous.
I see that Rige is now with us. Can you tell us in which regions the sites will be situated? Oui, bien sûr. Of course, the three regions of this project are Atsimandreva and Amormani and Bohemie. Those are the three regions. Thank you very much. In fact, I should have said that Rige is the country representative of the project and here in Madagascar. We have another question in English.
Program through the continent. What part of the program will benefit in the next 3 to 4 years to Madagascar? Mark, if you could answer that question.
Sure, we don't have specific numbers for that where we go and have numbers that we say for sure this much goes here, here, and here. We really try to be opportunistic, as I mentioned before, where we can find an opportunity to accelerate and catalyze certain programs, we will. So the money we announced today, that will definitely go to Madagascar and so forth, and other programs I mentioned, another program starting with SE for All, the Universal Energy Facility, that will also benefit Madagascar, as will many other things. Work we do that is continent-wide, and probably other things specifically targeted to the country as well. But we don't have the kind of fidelity purposefully to be able to say we'll spend exactly this much money here for this many years. We try to be much more fluid than that.
Thank you. D'autres questions? Any other questions?
Est-ce que vous avez d'autres questions? Do you have any questions?
Closing this session. Je vais vous donner encore quelques secondes si vous avez d'autres questions. Vous pouvez l'écrire toujours dans la boîte.
You can always write your questions in the question and answer section at the bottom of the screen.
Okay, je ne vois plus.
Right, I do not see any further questions, so I think we can now move to the closing. And as I mentioned at the start, we are going to try and take a photograph of all the participants. And while we do that, you will see that there's a small message that will appear on your screen, which will invite you to activate your camera. We will therefore see everybody in the gallery, and then we would like to take a photograph. While we do that or get this started, I would like to congratulate once again the winners of this grant, because it is something that is extremely important for Madagascar. As mentioned by the minister, and we saw also in the video how the people who are living in far-flung rural areas live with candles, and it will therefore be a project that will affect the people, the lives of people to a great extent. And we thank you very much Power Africa and also South African program, which works very hard in sometimes difficult conditions that are not easily accessible. And we also congratulate the winners, of course, Tarsis, Hier, and Henri Fraise, which also will have, of course, these challenges to face and to go in the field, and then to set up these many networks in en route. So to set up the mini grids. So I don't know if the minister would like to add a few words to close off the meeting. I'll give you the floor. Right. The first thing that I would like to say is to congratulate the winners. And I would also like to, or wish that they're going to grow, because I think it's only the first phase. And secondly, as I've already mentioned, I reiterate and my thanks to the American government, to USAID, and Power Africa as well. And I hope that the American government will continue to provide us with some funding, because of course Madagascar faces huge challenges, but I think we're on the right path. So thank you so much. Thank you very much also to all the participants to have attended this event. And we are now going to try and take a photograph. So, Ryan.
J'attends la réponse si on est prêt pour prendre la photo.
Right, I'm waiting for the response to take the photograph. I'm asking Ryan if we can go ahead and take the photograph.
We have to wait for everyone to join to become panelists.
Ok, on attend encore quelques minutes pour que tout le monde devienne, pour que tout le monde allume leur caméra et puis pour qu'on puisse voir tout le monde ensemble en même temps. Je vais vous donner encore quelques minutes. Monsieur l'ambassadeur,
giving some minutes. Mr. Ambassador, would you like to say a few words to close off?
Sir, I think you're on mute.
There we go. I was muted remotely, sorry. No, I just, let me add my thanks, first of all, to everyone at Power Africa and to everyone who organized today's virtual announcement and virtual program. It's been fascinating to watch over the past 8 months as we use new technologies to connect and to work together. And so thank you to everyone who made this technically possible. And then let me also, through His Excellency the Minister, thank everyone here in Madagascar, in the government, in the private sector, all of our partners. We are really blessed to have outstanding partners who have ambitious ideas for the development of the country. And it is truly a privilege to be able to partner with them and to work with them. And just like we say, Alefa Barea, we'll say Alefa Madagascar. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. Je crois qu'on attend encore quelques minutes.
Right, I think we're still waiting a few minutes.
Let us know when we're ready for the photo.
If everyone can smile, we'll take a few pictures. Cheers.
Just keep smiling, have a wave there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup à tous.
Thank you very much to everyone. Have a lovely end of day if you're in Madagascar.
Morning if you're in the United States, and good afternoon if you're in Madagascar or in South Africa. Thank you so much for joining. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir.
Thank you. Bye.
Merci beaucoup.
Au revoir,
Merci,
merci.
merci beaucoup et bonne fin de journée. Au revoir.
Merci.
Okay, leave. Okay.